start ours. So we are recording now. So let's get started. So I was thinking on the best way of starting this conversation today. And I think before Steve can introduce himself and before Livia can introduce herself as well. And I don't know if Rafa Castro is already with us. I don't think so. But before we can introduce ourselves, actually, I'd like to start sharing with you how we get connected. So why we are here today, and why we want to share with you our experience about Agile coaching and facilitator with Steve. So we have been working together, myself and Livia, and a couple of other friends. We are friends today, actually. And we have Steve as our coach, as our Agile team coach. So this was something very special to us because we knew Steve in a training, in a 5 days training when we used it to work at IBM. I used it to lead a team, Agile COE LA team by that time. And the entire team was in that training. It was a 5 days training, Agile facilitating and coaching training. And during the training, we shared a lot about our experience as a team, how we worked together, the way we were connected with each other, and etc. In the middle of the training, we got a very special moment. Steve actually called me outside of the room and say, "Hey, I would like to be the coach of this team. Talk with your team and ask them if they accept myself as a coach." And it was something very special to me. I couldn't believe that because for us, Steve was someone very special, very knowledgeable. We couldn't imagine having him as a coach. And of course we said yes. And it was by the third day of the training. And then we got back to the room and Steve, "Hey, we will have our first team coaching now during the training." This was a very special moment. So our first coaching section was in the middle of the training. And this was our starting point with Steve as our coach. So from that time on, we never got disconnected. So Steve today is my friend, is our team friend, and we are still friends. So most of the team left IBM, and we are still friends. We still have a WhatsApp group. We still ask for help. We still talk a lot about our personal problems with each other. So Livia, a few days ago, called me, "Hey, Tati, I have a very important decision. I want to speak with you." So it's really, it's something deep for us. Being here today, sharing with you this experience is something very, very, very deep for us. So this is a brief introduction of this conversation we are about to have here today with you. So I like to move to Steve, so Steve can introduce himself, and we can have Livia also introducing herself. So we will be the three people today sharing this experience, and of course Steve will share with you all what Agile team coaching and facilitation is really about. So welcome everyone again. So welcome Steve. We are very happy to have you here today with Business Agility the Institute community and having the opportunity to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Toddy. It's my pleasure, and yeah, we have been friends since 2016. Um, that was a very exciting time for me as well. I got to coach you live, and I remember there was a lot of tears and tissue paper that was used, but it was good tears. So, and I'm just so impressed with that first class. So many of the students, not just you and Livia and some of the other students, but so many of those students went on to become really great Agile coaches, and some of them are here today, and it just does my heart really well. And it's, as I've told my wife before, is, I can die now knowing that there are people out there that are helping other people, because that's what it's all about, as Agile coaches, we help people get better, and not just a job, but in their personal life as well. So I guess a quick background about me. I I served 20 years in the U.S. military, and after I retired, I got a degree in software engineering. I worked as a developer for many years. I got involved in I don't want to call it Agile movement, because at that time it wasn't known as the Agile movement. Back in the 1990s, um, an IBMer created something called, um, geez, I can't remember it now, rapid application development. And so I got involved in that. Uh, and then another guy came along and created this thing called extreme programming. His name was Kent Beck. And I was lucky enough to be involved in that in the early days, back in the late 1990s. Um, and then, things just bubbled from there. I did extreme programming for several years, and I heard about this thing called Scrum back in around 2005 or so. I don't remember the exact year. I'm 65. I don't remember those years anymore. But I've been involved in the Agile movement ever since. I eventually became a coach, an Agile coach, about 8 or 9 years ago. I attended a class with Lisa Atkins. I got hooked. I'm also a professional coach. I'm certified by the International Coach Federation. And I worked at IBM for 18 years up until 22 June when I was laid off, which was a great opportunity for me, because I got to go full time with my business. So that's me in a nutshell. Most of my career now for the past 9 years, 8 or 9 years now, has been Agile coaching, professional coaching. And I'm extremely happy to be here.
Thank you, Steve. Tia, would like to introduce yourself?
It was a very nice introduction from both of you. uh, I joined IBM at 2012. Basically, it was my first job. And I participated in some projects at IBM where there were bosses, not leaders. And I was like, oh gosh, my voice is not heard here. And I really would like to help to get it better, to make things better for our customers, but my bosses just don't hear me. And at that time I didn't know Agile very well, and I was in a project.
Reproduzir áudio de notebook Dell.
Go ahead, Livia.
Okay. And I joined a project at Itaú Bank, where they started their transformation, their Agile transformation. It was 2013, 14. And then I knew Agile, and I just loved it. It was so amazing that everyone could collaborate to help make things better. And I really believed in it. And it really matched my values and my purpose as a person. So I just loved it. And I heard that was Agile COE at IBM. And I think that's how I met Tati. And it was the most amazing experience I had at IBM. IBM is today, I'm not working for IBM anymore, but it really has a special place in my heart because it's thanks to IBM that I met all that people, and it really helped me to guide my career. and uh, and so we had the training with Steve and Matt at IBM. It was just amazing. I really fought to to make that training because my boss at IBM didn't want to let me do the training, but it really worth it. It was amazing, and since then we keep contact with Steve and Matt, and it's a very nice connection that we have today. As Tati said, that I called her, it was like 1 month ago. To ask for help because I had a really big decision for my professional life, and she really helped me. And we are friends today, and it's so amazing. I think that the most important thing we have in our careers are the people. The people are really what matter. So basically, that's my introduction. And I'm very happy to be here as well. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Livia. Okay, so before I start raising some questions for us to talk, I would like to share with you 2 slides just for you to have a little understanding of what we just mentioned here. So this is pretty much how we started this team at IBM. Let me just put in presentation mode here. Hold on a sec. Okay, got it. So we started working together in 2014 in a very informal way. So people used to think that an Agile Center of Competence, Latin America at IBM, starts with all the support that someone can have. And this is not true. So we started this team doing things from our hearts. So we just wanted to make it happen. So I had a friend, so at Rafa Castro in 2014, we had the same desire to make things differently, to work for people, to make people believe that we should bring humanity to corporate world. And then we started doing things in 2015. We got attention from globally. So we were doing a lot of things locally that they started to ask for our help. And that was very nice. That was a very special moment. And in 2016, this training that we just have shared with you happened. And I will share the picture of this very special moment when we got our first section, Agile coaching section with Steve. And in 2017, we got the Agile COELA officially recognized. We started getting executive support and investment in a lot of things. But people didn't know that we have been working for 3 years before that to get all this credibility, all this trust, and everything we needed from the company. So this is a pretty much a summary of our history. And here is the picture of this moment during the training section, I mean the 5 days training, when Steve and our team by that time, we got together in the middle of the room with all the participants watching us. It was a live session, and Steve started coaching us as a team. And from that point, and this was the starting point. And so from this point on, we started to work together, have him as our coach. So this is just a quick sharing about this. So this was our team by that time. So we are still friends today. So this is what matters to us. So these people are in our heart, or all of them. If we need help, any one of us need help from any one of them, we know we are ready for each other. Even today, even not being a team today. So this is what I'd like to share with you, just to complete our introduction. So I think we can start now raising some questions. So we see if we can start clarifying to our community here in Brazil what agile team coaching and facilitation is really about. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, what is the definition, in your opinion, for agile team coaching? And what is the difference, I mean, the main difference between agile team coaching and agile facilitator, I mean, about agile team facilitation? So this is the first question to you.
Okay, good. So I'll start with the first question you asked about is, what is an Agile coach? And for me, there is not a set definition. For me, an Agile coach is, number one, first and foremost, someone that is very experienced in Agile or Lean, one of those two, and has a specific mindset that I call a helping mindset. Is that we want to help people improve the way they work together as a team. There's different types of Agile coaches, but you specifically said Agile team coach. So an Agile team coach works with teams. And if you're familiar with Agile coaches, there's a certain competency framework that Michael Spade and Lisa Atkins came up with. And so to me, an Agile coach is number one, an Agile Lean practitioner, and I'll say experienced. I'll even clarify that more. Must have at least 3 years of experience, real experience. I'm not talking about reading books. I'm talking about working on Agile teams and projects. And then they need to have basic skills as a professional coach, a teacher, a facilitator, a mentor. And then there's other skills that you might want to have. Maybe you want to be proficient in as a business person. Maybe you want to be proficient in organizational change. For me specifically, I come from a very strong technical background, so I bring that. But there's something other than those core 5 things. But you got to have at least those five aspects, we'll call them roles, to be a good Agile coach. So that's it for me as far as an Agile coach. And moving into the second one, the Agile team facilitator. And what I'm talking about comes from the International Coach or International Consortium for Agile, or IC Agile. It's their basic learning roadmap. You start out as an Agile team facilitator. Some people say, okay, well, it's the same thing as the Scrum Master. But Scrum Masters aren't taught how to facilitate. And so when we're looking at an Agile team facilitator, they have to start out knowing something about Agile or Lean. And then they go a little farther and they have to know something, because this is the basic level, the very first level. They have to know how to facilitate. Because if you think about Agile teams and Lean teams, someone helps facilitate certain events. Maybe you're facilitating a solution delivery review, or maybe you're facilitating release planning or backlog refinement. Whatever, there's all kinds of sessions that are scheduled and meetings that are scheduled, and the Agile team facilitator facilitates those sessions, make sure they're on time, make sure they stay on objective. And then the other aspect, because it is the first level of the Agile coach path, is they've got to be able to help the team. You know, they've got to be able to help the team work things out. They've got to be good at communications and collaboration. And they're there as a guide to make sure they're on the right path. And they're also the person that interacts with the product owner or the application owner or whatever term you call it, the person that is providing you with the work that you have responsibility to bring value to.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Mhm.
And just complementing what you said, so what is the basic difference between coaching individuals and coaching teams?
Well, from my perspective, when I think about the way I coach individuals and teams, um, I don't do anything different. Um, the only difference is with when you're coaching a team, you need to think of a team as a system. Okay, this is where systems thinking comes into play. Is that, you know, on one-on-one, it's real easy in that it's just you and me. You know, it's I'm helping you improve. You're identifying your goals, your beliefs, what you want to achieve, identifying your weaknesses and your strengths, and we establish a growth path. Whereas with a team, now you've got, you know, X number of people that have certain paths, but also the organization has a growth path for that team. So you have to come together, just like what we did in the class is first I had to find out about each individual because you can't have a team without individuals. So when you're coaching teams, you have to learn about each individual. What are their strengths and weaknesses? And then you consolidate that because they come together and they form this system, and that system then has their strengths and weaknesses as a whole. But I use the same techniques on one-on-one as I do systems coaching.
Okay, great. And what was, if there is something, what was special for you about coaching the Agile COE team? I mean, what did you see in that team that motivated you to offer the team your service?
Oh, wow. First, there was a hunger. You guys were hungry. You wanted to get better. You were so passionate. And, you know, like what I mentioned is in that coaching session, that first coaching session in front of 24 people that, you know, you guys had just met me, you know, a couple days previously. You didn't know who this Crago guy is. And, and, and the passion that was there and so many people just realized that their hearts were touched and they wanted to do this so bad. And I won't say the names, but several people just started crying in tears. I've been waiting for this all my life. And this has changed me, and I want to go forth and I want to help people. And so it was that true, sincere desire to go out and help people. That's what touched me. Because so many people become agile coaches because they can make great money for sometimes, and they're important. They stand in front of people, and you know people go ooh and ah and all this other stuff. Their ego is involved, but it's like, you know, for me to be an agile coach is heart. It's all about your heart, and your heart's touched my heart, and that's why I said I've got to coach these people, and I got to coach them right now.
Yeah, and we are very lucky, Steve.
I was the lucky one.
Yeah, I thank every day for having you. I mean, I think you changed our lives. So our
Yeah.
work was never the same after that starting point. So, Livia, a question for you. So, and it's a similar question. So, what was the very special moment you can remember about working in that team and having Steve as our coach, and why do you think this was so important for you?
Oh, let me see. I'm not, no, I'm not muted. uh, a very special moment in our team. Well, when we were in the training, I felt that I could just, you know, be myself. As Steve said, it's not for, we really let our ego away. It was for passion. It was from our hearts. And that, I think that really made our connection stronger and stronger. So the fact of we, each of us, can be ourselves with within our team, it really that's why the Agile CO is so special for me. uh, and in the training with Steve, I remember one moment that he was coaching a team from Thiago. You remember that, Thiago? And it was so nice because he asked the leader, their leaders, if their leader know the family from their teams, if the leader know when is the birthday of the members of the team, and their leader was like, he didn't know anything. And the leader realized that he worked for so many years with that team, and he didn't really know anything about the people he worked for so long. It was so amazing to see that. It's really touching, you know. That moment really it's remarkable for me. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, we got some personal questions, you know, that were brought up, and when we do not know your team members personally, you don't know them, you cannot help them. So, and I think this is what Livia is, you know, sharing here. So when we care about people, we know them, we know their personal problems, their personal life, because we care, we ask them about this. So,
Yeah.
and this is, I remember that. So, and thank you, Livia. Steve, go ahead, Livia.
No, then I will make a question, but you can go ahead.
Okay, so Steve, what do you think a person must have to start thinking about becoming an agile coach?
I
You are
think Steve.
unmute. Let me.
Thank you. First, and again, this is from my perspective. You could talk to other coaches, and they may say something different, but this is me. Um, First, you got to really care about people. You got to care about helping them. It, for me, it's all about helping people achieve something they want to achieve. Um, so that's when I look at people as potential agile coaches, and I get asked this a lot, you know, when I was at IBM, as well as now I have people ask me, what's it take to be a good agile coach? I said, well, first you got to care about people, because you can't just connect with them and coach them and not become part of their life, whether it's individual or team. And so you got to care about the people. uh, uh, so that's the first thing. And then, of course, the rest is what I've talked about. You know, you've got to know Agile and Lean really well. Um, and you've got to be able to resist the urge to solve their problems, because Agile coaches, that's not our primary job. Because if we go in and solve all the problems right off and leave, you have done nothing for those people. You have to help them learn how to help themselves. You know, they have to, you know, it's, we have a saying in America, and I'm sure it's in other countries, I can give you a fish and you'll eat for one day, but I can teach you how to fish and you'll eat for the rest of your life. And that's one of the things that an Agile coach does, is we come in and we teach people and we coach people and mentor people. Um, but you got to have that mindset. So care about people and have a good Agile mindset of being open and honest. And I think for a really great Agile coach, you've got to have a strong ability to be courageous. And some of you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's tough to stand up to your manager and say, no, I'm not doing that. I used to get in trouble all the time because I said no, or I don't agree with this. So you've got to find that, I call it the line in the sand. So when you establish your values, and you gotta understand, you gotta look within yourself and identify, what are my values? What will I not bend? Okay, and so the logo that you see on my thing in the back is a fortitudo et integritas. It's integrity and courage. Those are my two key values. I will never lie or misrepresent myself. And I will be courage for the people that I will be courageous for the people I'm working with. And it doesn't matter. So to me, that's the most important thing for me personally as a coach. If you're a coach and you're not willing to stand up to people about the team, then you might want to look at doing something else, because there's going to be times that their leadership is going to want them to do something that's not right. And so you have to weigh those risks. What are you willing to risk for the team that you're coaching? I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. It
Really
does.
Tati,
Yes.
can I make a question?
Sure. Go ahead, Livia.
I don't know if everyone here knows Tati, but she is one of the most strong women I have ever met. She never give up of her dreams, and she's very strong. It doesn't matter the size of the rock that is in her way, she go through it, and she always have success on it. So I'd like to ask you, what moves you? You know, what gives you that strength that you have inside you?
Well, that's a great question. You almost made me cry here, Livia. We didn't get prepared for this question, Livia. Okay, but let me answer it. So, what moves me is my desire of building a better world where people can find better places, better companies to work, better bosses, more leaders, less bosses. So I want to uh, to make I want that something I believe becomes true. I want people to understand that it is possible to care about people and to make money. And actually, it is possible to make a lot of money and much more money caring about people, because people will be willing to work for you. So when we care about people, everything happens in our lives. So and, and this is what moves me, Livia. So I work every day thinking, what can I do today to build a better world?
It's very, very nice. And I know that you do it with your heart. And who knows, you know that you do it with your heart. Thank you.
Yeah, so in this is, I always say that when you want to make things differently, um, you face a lot of challenge every day. It's very hard and very frustrating. So we face frustrations every day because we live, especially when we work for a company, we work in a system that moves against what you want to build. So this is very hard. This is a very difficult fight, and but we are only able to face that frustration because your dream is bigger than this. This is what allows you to deal with this daily frustration. So I and I think and I want to have by my side people that want to fight for this. And this is why we are together in Business Agility Institute. So we have people that have the same desire, that want to build better organizations, that believe that we can have a better world. Maybe this is not going to be true for us to be alive, to get the benefits, but that doesn't matter. Our kids, their kids will get the benefit. So this is what my fight is about. This is what I am fighting for. So I'm not interested in getting the benefit myself. I want to bring something for people, the humanity. I want to make sure that my contribution can help people have better life. So this is my answer to your question, Livia.
I think we are we would like a world where companies are more human, and you are trying to do this. And I hope that in the future all the companies can be more human. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I do think that, and this is why I'm so happy in Business Agility Institute, because as a community, we can do whatever we want. So we can build whatever we want. So, and I tell this every day to people that come to me. So what is your dream? What help you need? So I'm here to help you. If you have a dream, and if this dream is connected with our dream, come to our team. So let's build this together. So I'm here for you. So I think that communities can bring a lot to the society because we can get together as humans and we can do whatever we want. There is nobody. We have no bosses. We have nobody that can tell you, hey, you can do that because you have to do in that to do in this direction. You have to go in this direction because this direction will bring us more money. So we don't have that. We are not worried about that. We are worried about bringing value to people.
Mhm.
So this is what we are worried about.
And just to complement, I think one of the most wonderful things of communities is that we don't have hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So this was a very tough question, Livia. Okay, but we still have a couple of minutes, and I would like those final minutes that we interact a little bit about everybody that is here listening to us. So if anyone would like to come up with a question to Livia, to myself, to Steve, or to make any comment about what we just shared with you, feel free to do it. So we are here for you, and we will be more than happy to answer to anything that is in your mind right now. Go
Vai,
ahead.
I have
Tatiana.
one.
Go ahead.
Who is?
Okay, I can go. Uh, so thank you for this thoughtful session. I would like to share an experience that I have with Steve. He changed my life really, and I believe that on the biggest, darkest, and the hardest moment, he was the person that even we have been talking like for 7 months we have not talked. He was the first time that I sent him a message asking a help, and like I would like to really share this with all that is in the room. Of course, I'm not giving so much details, but just to share how a coach is important to our lives. Because I'm not talking about work. This guy saved my life. I can definitely say that. I would not be here if you wouldn't for him. So it's a way to say thank you, Steve. And my question here is, how you do in your darkest day to keep up with this smile and influence all these people, not on US, not only in Brazil, but everywhere?
That's a good question, Karu, and I'm really happy to see you. You're looking better. Um, that's a tough question. I mean, for me, I've had some pretty dark moments in my life. What I do is I dig down and I find something that is really, really important to me. You know, something that will keep me from spinning out of control. And one of those things is my wife. My wife was my high school sweetheart. I've known her since junior high school, back when I was a young teenager. We've been together and we've been married since 1973, and we dated before then. So I don't know how. I think Colby is the only one here that might be close or older than me, and I can say him because I know him. We work together. He's a great Agile coach. But that's what I do. I find something that is important enough to me to pull me out. And it's usually my wife or my kids or grandkids. Um, and that helps pull me out. Um, and the other thing I have to constantly remind myself is that um, I'm valuable no matter what happens. It doesn't matter if I lose my job or I get sick. As a human being, I am valuable and I am loved. And I have friends all over the world. And so that's what helps me in my dark times. That plus, I have a coach. And when I start getting full of self pity and doubt, my coach, because my coach knows me, my coach kicks my ass because sometimes that's what I need. Because I told you I spent 20 years in the military. I'm kind of a rough guy sometimes, even though some people think I'm a teddy bear because I'm all nice and smushy outside. But sometimes I get in the moods, and my coach is former military too. He was in the Marines just like I was, and he knows how to handle this Marine Corps sergeant. And sometimes I need my ass kicked, and that's what he's there for. So that's how I do it, Kato.
Thank you, Steve. I
Thank
think
you.
Alceu would like to ask a question or make a comment.
Okay. No, it's a question for Steve. Do you think that agile coaching is a kind of leadership?
Um, it can be, but typically it's a non-leadership role, because when you're a leader, you're responsible for setting the goals. But if you're a good leader, you're going to help the team realize what goals they should achieve. So in many ways, I like to say it's a servant leader role. And I say servant leader because a real leader helps their people. They help them grow. They help them, and not just grow in their job, but grow in their life. So from that perspective, yeah, we're leaders because we help people grow. The only difference between that is sometimes a person in a leadership position um, has to tell people what to do. Whereas an Agile coach, we don't, we offer solutions, we offer recommendations, but in the end, when it's all said and done, the team decides if they want to do what you recommend. They don't have to do it, you know. Whereas when a leader gets in that position, sometimes they have to make the team do it, depending on the situation. So I hope that helped.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I can question.
Hold on, Caio, just a little
Okay.
bit. Danton is on the, yes, is the next one, yeah. And then Diego, and then you, Caio. Just for us to, you know, give everybody a chance.
Great, thank you, Tatiana. First of all, I have to say that the talk goes in a totally different perspective than I was thinking about, you know, and I really love it. So thank you very much for being so kind and so generous, and you know, sharing with us all this love, I can say, you know, and I really felt that. So thank you very much. And I'm just want to quote this because I made a mission for myself to make like business more human. So I totally resonate with everything you said, and I kind of have a feeling of, oh, I find a lot of people that care about that also, you know, and it's not alone in the fight. So yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I'm goosebumping, you know, because it's really touched me. And the question is, it's more on the facilitation side. I think we talk about a lot about coaching, and facilitation is something that I personally really likes. And it's really like an open question. And if you have like tips and hints, maybe courses, what kind of facilitation and you know, do you recommend, or what do you think is makes a good facilitator, you know, and more on this space.
Yeah, so I'll start with the last question first. What makes a good facilitator is someone that is curious, someone that is capable and Toddy, you may help me translate this. Someone that can read the room is. You understand what I'm saying? Read the room. You've got to be able to watch people and pick up on subtle things that they're doing. Because keep in mind, when you're facilitating a session, you have certain goals and objectives that as a facilitator, you're supposed to guide the people towards achieving. So you have to be able to scan the room and know if they're on track. And because, you know, people will start talking about, oh, what they did last night, you know, and, oh, we went dancing and blah, 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 and they'll get off track. And the facilitator has to bring them back into the room, so to speak, and get them back on track. But they have to do it in such a way that they don't embarrass the people. And they don't call people out. So you have to be good at reading people and reading the room. You have to understand how to deal with different types of dysfunctional behaviors. And again, you got to be courageous, because sometimes, and this has only happened a couple times in my entire career, sometimes you got to ask one or two people to leave because they're acting inappropriately. So you got to have that integrity and that courage. And as far as the second part of the question is, you know, what kind of courses can you take? Oh man, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll give you there's a lot of courses you can take depending on your situation. and how far you want to go. So yeah, I would say, you know, connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a private message, or, you know, one of the good courses specifically for Agile, and I don't know how popular it is in Brazil, or available, is the Agile Team Facilitator course from IC Agile. I used to teach that for IBM. It's a good course. It will teach you the basic facilitation techniques. In fact, there's a couple here that have taken that course. They can tell you all about it. And I think there's a couple companies in Sao Paulo, maybe Rio, that teaches the Agile Team Facilitator course. But that will get you started. Okay. And if you want to know more, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. Remind me of who you are, because I get all kinds of requests. And I'll give you some basic recommendations.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, we still have two questions, one from Diego and one from Caio. But before we move on with those questions, I'd like to welcome Rafa Castro. She got a little bit, yeah, he got a little bit late, but he is more than welcome. So Rafa is one of our team members, our Agile COELA team members, that we shared with you, that we are friends and that we care about each other. So he is also love it. So Rafa, we shared a lot about our work here and everything we have done, the way we started together, myself and you, forming some trainings and without no support and with only passion in our heart. So share with people here that are listening to you, what was special to you about that work, that team, having Steve as our coach, being in that training session where it was our starting point together. So what was special about it, of everything of this? I mean, any special thing that we can share with people here?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tadi. And I apologize, I was late. I made this arrangement to here with you and Steve. Hey, Steve, hey, folks, Livia, Kadu, other folks. Yeah. Well, for me, it's pretty much the starting point of everything, where everything started to change in my personal and professional life. We started this gig together, Tati and myself. We were doing some internal projects, and we really find that's a specific channel that we can potentialize what we love to do most, which is essentially help people bring more humanity to the business, etc. One of the things that you guys already talked about, and I think that the point that we had the opportunity to work with Steve was the the tipping point of the momentum, where we were looking for some shoulders to to use as a foundation thing, and we were able to really get together and confirm. I think it's pretty much more confirmation about I think we are the right track. If we believe something, let's just go and do it, even if we don't know all the answers. And that kind of humility help us. I mean, not only myself, but most of the folks that have started with us, everyone's just, they launch, right? Everyone took their own career to another level, even though we're not working together closely, but we always have this, I think about the folks every day, to be honest. And what I would do, for example, if I have a question, I reach out to someone else. We always have this special bond. And even with Steve and also some folks, also can see Kadu and Eduardo Kolbe as well from IBM. This is where we were able to create that community. But yeah, it's a lot to mention, Tati, but I would say that humility is the center of everything, what we do, and be humble, and then open mind for learning new things. And that's it. We only have opportunities to grow. And I'm grateful for that after a couple of years. Sorry for long answer.
No problem at all. And I think an important message here for all of you that are listening to us today is that everything depends on us. All we want to do depends only on us. This team, the Agile COELA team, didn't have the team members select by anyone. What connected us was only our passion to do something for people together. Only that. This is all we had. So a lot of people joined the team, but it was too much work, too much challenge, and people used it to give up. So we were the only ones that faced all the challenge until the end. So this is an important message because we sometimes in our lives we used um, to look for the reasons in others for things that don't happen in our lives. So I think that an important thing for us to think about is how much are we willing to fight for our dreams? This is an important question for us to ask because it's not easy, but it's possible. All right, so Diego, please go ahead with your question. Just for you to know, we are already reached our time, so we are gonna be just 5 minutes late, I mean, to end the meeting, just for us to have the opportunity for Diego and Caio to bring up their questions, okay?
Okay, so hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hey, Steve, long time no speak.
Hey, Diego, how are you?
I'm fine. Hope everything's fine with you too. Nice to see a couple of familiar faces here. So let's go to this question. One of the things that I've noticed in your career is that you pretty much you float in between, at least in IBM, in between the two layers. Let me put it this way: high executives and actual team members. So people, just regular employees like analysts, etc. And what's your impression in between these two layers? Maybe challenges you face, because especially in a company like IBM where we are so vertical because we're so big, and people sometimes when they're up there they feel like they're in the Olympus, and we're down there sometimes people feel like they're in the limb, for example. So, and I'm pretty sure you have a couple of good stories or examples to give there too.
Yeah, and it's difficult. The higher up you go, it's a lot more difficult for people to be transparent. So, you know, like Diego mentioned, I coach quite a few junior and mid-level executives at IBM. And those that wanted the coaching were really good. I respected them. I understood their situation. Just like the teams, they were in hard places too. And sometimes when we're down at the team level, and I don't mean it's lower, but when we're at the team level, we don't sometimes appreciate the pressure that the junior executives and the leaders are having put on them. Because I found that too. Because the vast majority of problems in my career has been with executives or managers. Mainly because I like to speak my truth, and they don't like to hear my truth. And so we have clashes. But I learned through coaching people in higher positions that they're just like us. They're human beings. They want to do a good job. They've got kids they need to feed, and they work for terrible people too. Because they're getting pressure just like we are. And so it changed when I started coaching executives at IBM, it changed some of my perspectives on things. It didn't mean that I excused some of the inappropriate decisions I felt they made, but at least it gave me a different outlook and understanding. And so I think a lot of times we have to change our mindset a little bit, in that oftentimes it's us against them. And so we have to take the first step. You know, because many times I work with teams and they're not willing to do that. Say, well, why do I have to take the first step? It's, well, you know, there's this thing of if not you, who? You know, if your leader is got their backs up against the wall because they work for someone that's really pressuring them, if you don't have the integrity and courage to go to them and say, hey, look, let's talk, there's nothing you can say about it. So you've got to have the integrity and the courage and the values to, and you don't want to berate them or anything. Get them aside, because they have feelings and emotions. They're under tremendous amounts of pressure. But just try to have a cup of coffee with them and talk with them like a normal human being. Because many times we don't see them as normal human beings. We see them as those damn executives. They don't know what they're doing. But they're under the same gun as we are. Okay. And so it's just, we have to remind ourselves that whether we're working with people at a team level or a first line manager or even a senior executive, we need to reach them at the human level and put ourselves in their shoes sometimes. There's still a lot of things I don't agree with that happen at IBM, and I still let them know about it. But I understand better because I started to put myself in their position. Did that help?
As usual. Thank you.
And it's great seeing you again.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, so let's move on to the last question. Caio, please come up with your question, and then
Okay.
we will, start to close our conversation.
Hi, everyone. My question is for your three, and Rafael now is for. My doubt is you have a lot of experience in the big companies, like big tech company, yeah, IBM. I think my doubt is how to be a agent of agility in this kind of companies. I'm not AJ. I know my title jobs and my work is not about agile code, but I think I can help in the process in the company to like put a seed in the mind people to change the minds to be more agile. And my doubt is how to be more effective in this kind of things. How I can do better my job in try to convince these people to be more agile, to listen this calling the marketing are asking to be us to be more agile. It's like my question reason is how to be a person in the company to be more inspiring, trying to be more agile with other persons and in a big tech company.
Yeah, I got your question, Caio. I would say two things. I would like to hear from Rafa and Livia, but I would say two things. First, don't think you can change people's minds. You can't. So don't try to do it. Don't try to change someone else's mind. I think the best way to make it happen in big companies is bringing results. So this is what people care about in big companies. So show them that you can bring results in a different way. You can start influencing the company. So you can start a movement internally, because you will do great things. People will be interested in what you were doing, and we'll get more support. And then with more support, you can do more, and then you can move on. So this is what we did at IBM. So we started small with nothing, with only passion. And after a couple of years, we had sponsorship from globally. We have people reaching out to us, requesting our help. We had customers looking for our support. So the best thing, in my opinion, for you to do is keep your beliefs, keep your dream open your mind and move on, influence and bring results.
Yeah. And if I can complement, to make a big tech company agile is a very huge challenge. So maybe you start to complain, but don't do it. Don't start complaining. Just think about what you can do to change, even if in your area or your team. So if when you can change your space, let's say that like that, people will start to see it. People start, like Tat said, people will start to see the results, and they will want to behave the same. They want to do the same. So if I can give, if I can say something about that, is don't complain. Start doing something that you can change your team.
Rafa, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, yeah. I think just I think you guys most pretty much answered that. I would say that you know, everything can start with simple things. Even in the queue in the supermarket, if you lead by example, if you help people, I think it doesn't matter if it's agile, DevOps, or whatever technical, whatever skills you have. If you are willing to help people, this is where everything gets started. And of course, we're looking for a more structured way to do this. Like you guys talked about facilitation, technical agility. You know, I think it's at this point it's very important to consolidate not only the beautiful things about Agile, because it's beautiful in the books, it's beautiful, you know, the concepts, but it's really hard to put it out into practice, right? So like Liva mentioned, start small with your own cycle and your own, start your own movement, right? You don't need to be attached to anybody or be part of a big group. As long as you're doing things with the heart, things is going to happen. Things will be ending well. It may take a lot of time, but that's going to happen pretty well. And start with you. For example, if you are a technical guy, start your own movement. Say, yeah, I'm available for mentoring people in Java development or DB2 or whatever. And people will start to feel that kind of a, you know, kind of a spirit, right, that you can have. And then the technical aspects we can learn, but these soft aspects of the equation, it's the key thing.
And if
Thank
I
you,
may,
Rafa.
and those, yeah, those are awesome. The other thing is, you don't have to use the word agile. I had a client that did not even want to hear the word, but we were still agile. It's, you know, be the change that you want to see. And you don't even have to say agile or scrum or any of those words at all. Just let them see how you work and the benefit you bring, and they're going to want that. And they're going to ask you, what are you doing? And you just tell them. But you don't have to use agile or scrum or anything. Just be the change that you would like to see.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys, so we are out of time already. So I would like to thank you all for being here with us today, to listen to us, to, you know, to give us this opportunity to sharing of this very special, you know, moment for us and everything that this means to us. So thank you all. Thank you, Steve. Thank Livia. Thank Rafa. And Steve, I would like to close this meeting. So I'd like to ask Livia, Rafa, and then you, Steve, to share a final message. So what would be a final message you want to leave to everyone today? So Livia, let's start with you.
I would say that never give up of your dreams and your values, your purpose. You know, if you really believe your dreams, they come true, no matter the size of your dream.
Thank you, Livia. Rafa, you're the next.
All right. Yeah, I think it's now that everything is connected, we just end up these. I think we're pretty much to the close of this pandemic craze thing. And just remember that we're not alone. Everyone is facing similar challenges, the same doubts, the fears. So it's normal to feel the pressure. It's normal to fail, as long as we learn from those mistakes, right? And you're never alone. Try to find someone who can, be your peer, where we can, be more confident, share more, and be more vulnerable for to certain things. I think it's only help us to keep us going forward, moving forward.
Thank you, Rafa. Steve, your turn.
Such great words to follow. Maintain your integrity, be true to yourself, and identify your core values and live them.
Thank you so much. I'd like to say something to you all. So, if any of you is looking for a place where you can dream, where you can make your dreams happen, come to our community, come to Business Agility Institute Brazil community. Let's make it happen together. That's what I'd like to tell you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Tati. Thanks,
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.
Thank
Ciao.
you.
Ciao, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Carlos. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, nice.